data was showing Raila had won with 1.8 million votes.
Kwa hivyo mimi usiambie mimi nataka mimi nishinde. Mimi sashinda mara mingi.
And we changed all those figures and Kibaki won.
Kibaki alikuwa ameshinda.
And we had agreed whoever dies first will reveal this information for the country. So that's why I'm doing it.
Kibaki ndiye alishinda hiyo uchaguzi.
You keep on pressing me, I won't stop. The register has been changed.
Kijana wengine kutoka Murang'a anasema tu utaka kuwa rais, kuwa na Gachagua na Kalonzo. Wewe hivyo ndio nimetoka bwana.
And we had data, complete data, that it's Raila who had won the election. I know some people will run away here.
Uchaguzi ambayo imekuwa naitwa free and fair tangu tulete hii mfumo sasa yenye vyama vingi ni 2002.
Register, they have the names but they don't have a photograph. That's how Raila got beaten.
Mimi najua mwaka juzi tulikuwa nasema funguni saba. Sisi tufunguni saba. Maana tulikuwa najua ndani ya saba kuna ukweli. Walifungua.
Hired. They came to my house and I showed them how the register is not true. But that's how, obviously.
Unasema Ruto aende. Aende alafu nani ifanyike?
In a stunning revelation that has sent shockwaves through Kenya's political landscape, media mogul Samuel Kamau Macharia, popularly known as SK Macharia, founder and chairman of Royal Media Services, claimed that opposition leader Raila Odinga won the last 4 presidential elections, but was systematically denied victory through alleged electoral fraud. Speaking at a recent event in Machakos, Macharia asserted that Odinga's triumphs in the 2007, 2013, 2017, and 2022 elections were thwarted by deliberate manipulation of the electoral process. He alleged that successive governments, including those led by former Presidents Mwai Kibaki and Uhuru Kenyatta, as well as the current administration under President William Ruto, orchestrated schemes to rig the elections in favor of their preferred candidates. Macharia's allegations are particularly focused on the 2007 election, where he claimed that the electoral system was deliberately manipulated to fraudulently multiply the votes of Raila's competitors, denying him his rightful victory. These claims align with Odinga's long-standing assertions that he has consistently won presidential elections, but his victories were stolen through rigging and manipulation. Odinga has previously alleged that his votes were altered or annulled, preventing him from assuming the presidency despite popular support. The gravity of Macharia's statements has intensified calls for comprehensive electoral reforms to ensure transparency and fairness in future elections. The alleged patterns of electoral malpractice have raised concerns about the integrity of Kenya's democratic processes and the need for systemic changes to prevent future injustices. As the nation grapples with these revelations, the demand for accountability and electoral justice has never been more urgent. The question on many minds is whether Kenya's political elite will heed the call for reform or continue to perpetuate a system that undermines the will of the people.
I started campaigning for presidential candidates in 1992 when I was campaigning for Raila Odinga and as a Kikuyu, and Matiba was the opposite candidate. Anytime I went to that side of the country, they would block roads. They would be told there is somebody who is a Kikuyu not campaigning for Matiba, but campaigning for Odinga. But when I get to where the roads are blocked, they see me, they say, oh, it's SK. Okay, we'll remove there. So they remove them and I go on. In 2022, there was no big deal because Raila had joined Kibaki to compete in the presidential election with Uhuru, and it was a Nisia election for Kibaki. Then it came to 2007. 2007. When Raila Odinga and the current President Ruto were presidential candidates against Kibaki. And again, Kibaki is a Kikuyu, and I happen to have been campaigning with for Raila everywhere in the country. That always gave a huge, and all that I'm going to mention, Betty, why she's a senator, is because she was charged by Mrs. Macharia to be in all those road shows and campaign, always to make sure that I'm well fed. Then in 2017, or 2012. Is it 2012?
2012.
No, the one that Kibaki won. 207 against Raila. 207. Kibaki won, and we had data, complete data, that it's Raila who had won the election. I know some people will run away here, but let them run away, because we agreed with the Getahi. I'm speaking to the soul of Getahi. Here is only the body. And we had agreed whoever dies first will reveal this information for the country. So that's why I'm doing it. Our data was showing Raila had won with 1.8 million votes, and I was picked from my house at night, and all the returning officers from Mount Kenya region were held somewhere, and their return forms taken. And I was taken to my office. I found some people, I'm not going to mention their names, and we changed all those figures, and Kibaki won the election against him. I'm not going to mention about 2013 election, which again was Uhuru, or 2012 to 2013. Again, I campaigned for Raila, and Royal Media had already started then, and Inoro TV and Citizen TV were switched off in the whole of Mount Kenya region, but that could not make me change my belief in Raila, because Raila was left to me by his father. Then we came to the election of 2022. I'm going or 2017, before 2022. In the election of 2017, it was Raila against Uhuru and Ruto at that time, the current president. We learned that the register had been changed for voters. When you are registered a voter, you have your fingerprint, you have your photograph, and you have full names. That some names, they have taken some IDs from the death register. But remember, Malaga codified discrepancies and drew away the election. And Raila said he's not going to repeat the election with the IBC being not changed. So obviously it was Uhuru and Ruto. They won the second round, the repeat, easily. Then I want to mention, because all this is in our records, about the election of 2022. We went to Naivasha to plan for the election of Raila as a candidate. Again, remember, it is Uhuru against Raila, and I'm campaigning for Raila. And at Naivasha, I tried to explain that the register that is going to be used has fake voters, but Raila was so impatient, he stopped me from explaining. But these 4 commissioners that will sign in the end, again, and you remember Musando, that's how the votes have been put in.
Sikizi naona huyu na Kalonzo, wajui vile nimetoka bwana. Poa kabisa. Nchi hii inaweza kuchomeka ikiwa kama watu hawajihadhari sana. Hii demokrasia tunajenga katika taifa letu, tumetoka naye mbali. Zamani ilikuwa ukisema tu ngwe ndani, wakati ile ambaye simba alikuwa na meno na makucha. Yo simba tuling'oa meno, hata makucha tukakata. Sasa hivi tuko na simba kibogoyo. Haikuwa rahisi. Wakati ile ilikuwa kama umeonekana tu wewe ni mtu ambaye atafuati nyayo, unashikwa tu na mtu anaenda weka sahihi, waziri wa mambo ya usalama. Hiyo inatosha kuweka yeye jela Kamiti au Shimulatewa au Naivasha kwa miaka mingi zaidi. Kuna mambo ya mahakama. Siku hizi hata kuweka wewe kwenye remand ya polisi huwezi kuweka wewe zaidi ya masaa 48. Yale yote haikukuja kwa njia rahisi. Imekuja kwa jasho na damu ya Wakenya. Na tukakuja mahali papo sisi tuko hapo. Sasa tulipolazimisha hao kukubali tuwe na mfumo wa siasa yenye vyama vingi, haikuwa rahisi. Tukawa na uchaguzi mwaka 92, mliona matokeo yake. Alafu ikaja ile ya 97, mliona matokeo yake. Hiyo 97, mimi na hakika kama hawange ongeza siku ambayo waliongeza kwa sababu ya mvua, tulisema na mvua. Hiyo peke yake. Hizi zingine zote unajua. SK mwambie nyinyi. SK mwambie nyinyi. Sijatangazwa tu. Lakini muhimu ni kwamba Kenya ni mkubwa kushinda sisi zote. What's important is democracy is a project. It's not an instant coffee that you brew and drink at the same time. What is important that Kenya remains together. Hakuna haja ya kusema Raila asimame na 27 kama 27 hiyo Kenya itafika pale kama imechomeka. Kenyans need to live between now and 2027. It's now. Gharama ya maisha ni juu sana ya Wakenya. Wakenya wanaumia. Bei ya chakula iko juu, ushuru iko juu sana. Mambo hii ya ufisadi imepanda. Tumeweka 10-point agenda. Na hiyo 10-point agenda sio usalata. Wewe unataka tufanyane namna gani? Kama kuna njia nyingine. Mbele pale Ruto aende weke Gachagua. Sasa Ruto aende, Kindiki aende abaki pale. Baadaye Kindiki aende weke mtu mwingine. Hakuna haja. 2027 itafika. Lakini Wakenya wako na shida mpaka ya shida yatatuliwe sasa, sio siku nyingine. Hatuwezi kupiga siasa miaka 5 yote mfululizo. Nchi haiwezi kuendelea mbele. Maana yake mkiweka nchi katika hali ya campaign, kelele mingi zaidi. Kuna kazi inafanyika. Mpaka kuwe na wakati ambaye kazi inafanywa. Alafu baadaye tunarudi tena kwa campaign. Si namna hiyo. Si namna hiyo. Hiyo ndio mimi najua, ndio sababu tunaona baba ako hapa na mimi nilisema, niliuliza Wakenya kama mnataka niendelee. Wakaniambia endelea. Baba endelee si endelee? Endelee si endelee? Sasa umesikia? Wamejibu wewe jamaa. Sio wametoa majibu. Tumetoa majibu. Sisi tunajua wakati ile ya kampeni ikifika, hiyo wote wanaume jitokeza. Sio lazima Raila simame. Raila vile vile anaweza kukaa nyumbani. Umesema Raila ni mzee sana. Sio unasema Raila ni mzee sana. Ni baba aendelee siendelee? Akae nyumbani. Akae nyumbani. Asanteni sana.